Thanks very much for the fantastic talk. Okay, now let's move to the Q&A section. And you can raise your hand to ask the question, or you can write it on a piece of paper and pass it to one of our volunteers. The question can be either in English, Chinese Mandarin, or in Tibetan. And before you ask the question, please tell us what is your name and what do you study if you are a student, and where are you from. Okay, and please keep your question concise in Korea. Okay, thank you.
Rinpoche Tashi Delik, my name is Tsiji Weise and my hometown is in Kham Muya. What I'd like to say is your visit has brought great joy to Tibetans here in Australia. There are over 1,000 Tibetans living here. Everyone is so excited by your visit. We weren't sure about your schedule, so on behalf of everyone here and all the Tibetans in this community, we sincerely hope you can spare an hour or more to give us a Dharma teaching. We really look forward to it. If your schedule allows, we'd love to give you our contact number and hope you can find a little time for us. We are very grateful.
All right. This Tibetan brother just mentioned that now that I'm here, if I can find some free time, they'd love to hear a teaching on Buddhism. Well, based on my situation, my schedule is already fairly full. But as for the specifics, please leave me a contact number a little later and I'll get back to you so we can work something out. Let me say a few words to them in Tibetan. Just a moment.
서로 시도고요래 대니나 하장 다리 가주치 대니 또 다리가 다디 수쿠치고 주르는만이 하면시다 강 다리는 제는 바거든요. 저거 나바증아 조던 되는 파라 되는 제라시요 같은지.
I've been doing meditation for a very long time, and I've come to a point where I have a very important question for myself. I know this sounds a bit strange, but it has come to this point in my meditation where I feel very content with my awareness of my mind. And now you were mentioning how you can't find your mind. You need to always find your mind. I actually have come to a point where I just can't find how I'm feeling anymore because I feel so calm and content compared to how I was before, and I don't know if is this going to remain like that? Do I just keep meditating? Is it just? It's a very strange question that I'm asking because I've been thinking about it for about a week, but I'm not sure if you've had this or anyone has had this experience where you just reach a point where you're just always happy with however you're feeling because it doesn't matter. I don't know.
What you're describing doesn't seem strange to me at all. In fact, it's very good. Everyone goes through different experiences in their meditation practice. At first, the mind settles down and rests in stillness. We generally call this shamatha, or calm abiding. But shamatha alone isn't enough. A settled mind is not unique to humans. Even celestial beings can remain in meditative absorption for countless eons. Even some animals can hibernate for 3 months. So by itself, it's not such a high attainment. What we need next is to recognize the nature of the mind itself. That's called vipassana, or insight. Without this wisdom of insight, we cannot cut through the root of samsara. So right now you're in a state of calm abiding. If you go a step further in your practice, you'll come to recognize the true nature of your mind. It can't be said to exist, nor can it be said not to exist. It is beyond ordinary conceptual grasp. But to arrive there, you need the support of proper theoretical understanding, and then you can truly discover its nature.
I'm from Bhutan and I have a question. I've been trying to observe everything happening around me. At some point you suddenly realize that everything, including all of us, arises from causes and conditions. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you see a living creature with hair staring back at itself. And when you look at your own children, it feels strange too. It makes you uneasy. You're no longer fully in the mundane world, but you're not fully in spiritual life either. And you don't know how to relate to everything around you anymore. Suddenly, even your daughter, when you glance at her, seems almost like an object.
This really isn't so unusual. In this world, each person's perception and values can shift when certain conditions come together. These uncertain elements show up everywhere, in everything we see and everything we hear. From a Buddhist point of view, this kind of interdependence is really nothing surprising, but in your particular situation, you may need to reflect on it deeply over time and keep exploring. This is why most people see it as a good thing, while a few find it unsettling. It's not just what you're experiencing personally. For many people, it comes down to values, aesthetics, and so many other aspects of how they see the world. Everyone's karma manifests differently. As for your particular experience, I don't think it's necessarily a problem. I visited Bhutan myself back in 1990. At the time, I felt that Bhutan and Tibet share a lot in common, in faith, in tradition. And for individuals, this kind of experience is not unusual. Everyone has their own uncertain, shifting perceptions of the world.
In the final stage of your own moving meditation or contemplative practice, what do you actually observe? Is it that nothing remains at all? What do you understand the final stage to be? And what stage of meditation have you reached yourself? We'd love to know. The woman who just spoke described her stage as experiencing a sense of the self dissolving, no longer feeling drawn to her surroundings. The world around her had faded away. So regarding the final stage of your own practice, is there anything you'd like to share with us?
I would say my attainment is actually quite high. Especially these past few days here in Australia, as I had just arrived from New Zealand, where I had spent some time before. Perhaps it was simply due to the jet lag. Last night, I sat down to meditate, and I didn't wake up until this morning. Nothing happened throughout the whole meditation session, so I suppose my attainment is not bad.
Hello, Khenpo Rinpoche. It's a great honor to hear your lecture. I'm a student from Inner Mongolia, studying at the University of New South Wales. I've only been here less than a month. I have two questions. The first is, today's talk was about moving meditation and watching over your own mind. I find this really interesting because I've noticed that many people go through their whole lives without ever knowing how to tend to their inner life. They never even stop to think about it day after day as human beings. They just eat, drink, sleep, and work, keeping things simple and not thinking too deeply. They complain, they argue, they do all the usual human things, and that's how their whole life passes. But someone like me, even though I can't say I've studied Buddhism deeply, I'm really just a beginner. But I think a lot about watching over my own mind each day. I find myself regretting things I've said or done, doing a lot of self-reflection, and sometimes I actually feel less happy than those people. So I wonder, between these two kinds of people, in the end, will the next life be better and more beautiful for one kind than the other? Or will what we gain in this lifetime itself be different? That's my first question. My second question is, my whole family is Mongolian, and they all believe in Buddhism. They're simple, sincere believers. They trust in the power of mantras. But having been exposed to different cultures, and especially coming here, I find myself sometimes feeling like pi in Life of Pi. I think about Catholicism, about Jesus. I find myself drawn to all of these things, and at their core they all speak of compassion, just like Buddhism. So sometimes I don't know where my true faith lies. Those are my two questions. I hope you can help me find my faith and my ultimate purpose. Thank you.
Yes, this relates to Chan practice. If you practice well, you can reach the highest state of Chan even in this lifetime. Actually, there are two aspects to Chan practice. One is practicing Chan in the midst of activity, and the other is acting from within a state of Chan. Many people genuinely need to be in that state. Just now I mentioned the 6-syllable mantra, and yes, reciting it while doing household chores is exactly this kind of moving meditation. I think it's wonderful. It's something I've practiced myself for many years and shared with many people. I find it very meaningful. Now, her second question is about faith. Actually, Einstein wrote about this in his book, The World as I See It. He said that science and technology have brought enormous convenience to people, but at the same time, much of our morality has been lost. Einstein once expressed the view that the noble spiritual values left to humanity by figures like Shakyamuni, Moses, and Jesus may far surpass those of the so-called scientists who think themselves so clever. And along those lines, he kept returning to this idea in his writing that Buddhism, in particular, can actually keep pace with science. So I think faith is something you have to choose for yourself. I don't need to tell you which one. Just use your own wisdom and judgment to choose. Honestly, all religions have real value. Choose one for yourself. And once you have, don't just be a believer in name only. Really understanding its teachings is what matters. I hope you find your way.
Thank you, Master.
My question is, we just talked about how the first and most basic stage is generating inner meditative joy, and the second stage is moving meditation. My question is moving meditation a higher state? And in that state, do you experience emptiness? Not emptiness meaning nothing exists, but emptiness in the sense that all things are impermanent, that what exists can become nothing and nothing can become something. Is that the kind of state that arises?
Well, whether we're talking about Chan Buddhism or the ultimate nature of all things, it isn't just emptiness. Even emptiness itself cannot be established as an independent reality. Neither emptiness nor non-emptiness truly exists, nor does anything outside these two. This is the true nature of reality. In Buddhism, at the highest level of teaching, it is described as free from the 4 extremes and 8 conceptual elaborations. Ordinary people find this very difficult to imagine, but with deep practice, you'll come to directly experience it. It is the nature of our mind and the ultimate reality of all phenomena.
My question is simple. About the 6-syllable mantra, does it matter how many times you recite it? Does it need to be 108 times, or is 3 or 6 times fine?
There's no fixed number, the more the better.
Khenpo, may I ask something not directly related to meditation, but important? My understanding is that in Vajrayana, pure perception and guru yoga are central. But suppose someone has 2 gurus and has always had deep trust in both. Then one day, one guru starts speaking against the other. What should that person do? One option is to use pure perception to convince themselves that it's simply their own impure karma at work. Another option is to abandon Vajrayana altogether and practice Pure Land instead. Thank you.
A disciple doesn't need to get involved in matters between teachers, and there's no need to abandon Vajrayana.
Khenpo Rinpoche, I'm so grateful you're here. It's an honor to attend your lecture today. I wanted to ask, since you are regarded as a reincarnate Lama, an emanation of a Bodhisattva, you've already transcended all of this. It's as if you've let go of everything and have no attachment to this world at all. But we're still here, living as ordinary people. Our minds are still caught up in food, clothing, shelter, all the daily concerns of life. And when difficult moments arise, when we just can't hold it together, should we turn to meditation, specifically moving meditation? But sometimes reciting Om Mani Padme Hum doesn't seem to work for everyone. What do we do then?
I never said I've attained any special state. Your question was actually already answered for the person before you. As for your second point, if the 6-syllable mantra doesn't resonate with you, then find something else that does. Or maybe something delicious might resonate with you even more.
Okay, thanks all the interesting questions and also the words answered by Rinpoche. And at least I think from today's talk, everyone will agree with me that technology is even more impermanent with the microphone. So I hope that through today's talk, everyone could get a better understanding of meditation in action. And I also wish that all the audience have gained as much as I have. And don't forget to meditate when you walk out the door. Okay? And again, thanks Rinpoche coming to UTS today to give us a fantastic Dharma talk. At the end, may I ask everyone please rise and to pay the respect to the departure of Rinpoche. And please give a big round of applause.